Wake up in the grind, clock ticking, 20 minutes flat, freedom main-handed, knives built where the real ones at.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the 20-Minute Freedom Project. I am your host, Josh Lopez, and this show is for those who want ownership, discipline, freedom, and to build a life that they've always wanted, one that is earned and not handed to them. And today's episode is Opportunity Doesn't Wait. And before you roll your eyes and think this is just another carpe diem motivational speech, it's not. Because I'm not talking about some inspiring quote you screenshot and you forget by lunch. I'm talking about the real cost of hesitation and the invisible tax you pay every time you wait for perfect conditions that never come. And I know this because I've been that guy. All right, let me be honest with you. There is a moment I still think about, probably more than I should. A few years back, I had a chance to partner with someone on a business venture. It wasn't huge, it wasn't flashy, but it was solid. The kind of thing where the opportunity is right there, the timing was good, and I could feel it. And I hesitated. I told myself I needed more time, more research, more certainty. I needed to think about it. Here's the thing. I wasn't wrong about the risks. Those were real. But I wasn't calculating those risks honestly. I was inflating them. I was manufacturing reasons to delay because moving forward felt so uncomfortable. So I waited. And while I waited, someone else moved on the opportunity. They took the same opportunity, same framework, same market, and they ran with it. And it turned out that they did really well. Not because they were smarter, not because they had more resources. They just moved when the window was open, and I didn't. Now here's the part that still stings. 6 months later, I saw what they'd built, and I knew that I could have done that. I should have done that, but the window closed. And no amount of readiness or preparation mattered anymore because the moment was already gone. That's what I'm talking about today. Not motivation, but reality. And this is the hard truth. Opportunity does not care how you feel. It does not wait for you to be ready. It does not slow down because you're unsure. Opportunity shows up and then it moves on. You get sometimes just one chance to take advantage of it, or it passes you by. There is no pause button with opportunities. Most people think the opportunity looks obvious, like a flashing sign, like a guaranteed win, like certainty. But the real opportunity rarely looks like that. Real opportunities usually look like uncertainty, risk, discomfort, and incomplete information. It shows up quietly. It shows up very briefly, and then it's gone. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you hesitated. There's an idea that breaks people into 3 different categories. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the whole theory is that there are 3 kinds of people in the world. 1, those who make things happen. These people move, not recklessly, not emotionally, but decisively. They understand that action creates clarity. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't need guarantees. They see a window and they step through it. The second is those who watch things happen. These people analyze, they observe, they wait. They tell themselves they're being cautious. They call it planning. But deep down, they're spectators. They watch other people take risks and then comment on the outcome. They want to make sure that they don't feel wrong or they were late. They want to make themselves feel good. And the third is those who are still wondering what just happened. These are the people who wake up one day and say, how did I get here? How did they get ahead? They didn't choose wrong. They didn't choose at all. And life made a decision for them, and they don't like the outcome. Here's the mistake. People think opportunity is something you can circle back to. I'll do it later. I'll revisit this. Now's not the right time. The opportunity doesn't sit on a shelf. It's a moment, a window, and a window closes. Not with announcements. They just quietly shut. And most people don't notice until it's already gone. Let me paint a picture for you. You hear about something early, a job opening, a business idea, a partnership opportunity, a move you've been thinking about for months. You feel it, that pull, that mix of excitement and fear. But you make the decision to hesitate. You tell yourself you need more time. We need more information. You need more certainty. So you wait. And a few months later, you see someone else doing the thing you talked yourself out of doing. They're not smarter than you. They're not more talented. They just moved when you hesitated. And now you're left with a familiar feeling. Regret mixed with justification. You tell yourself it wouldn't have worked anyway. You tell yourself the timing wasn't right. But deep down, you know the truth. You were afraid, and fear disguised itself as logic. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Why do people, smart people, capable people, miss opportunities they know are good? It's not laziness. It's fear dressed up as caution. Psychology explains this clearly. Humans are wired with something called status quo bias and loss aversion. In simple terms, your brain prefers staying where it is because losing what you have feels more painful than gaining something new feels rewarding. So even when an opportunity is good, your brain takes it and extrapolates out all the risks. It whispers, what if this goes wrong? What if I look stupid? What if I lose what I already have? And hesitation feels safe because it avoids the immediate pain. But safety is an illusion because opportunity doesn't wait for your nervous system to calm down. Here's what most people don't realize. Hesitation compounds. Every time you hesitate, you're not just missing one opportunity. You're training yourself to hesitate again and again. You reinforce doubt. You weaken decisiveness, and you train yourself to stall. And stalled people don't suddenly become decisive under pressure. They freeze. Opportunity favors people who can move before certainty arrives. Think about training. Any kind of training. Training for a marathon, training for drills with a weapon, training in martial arts. In every case, you train before the moment shows up. The outcome hasn't arrived yet. It may never arrive, but you train anyway. You might ask why. And the answer is so that you are ready when the moment comes. Even if it never does, you are ready. This applies to everything: business, relationship, fitness, faith. Opportunity does not care if you want it. It rewards those who prepare for it. And preparation doesn't mean waiting for permission. It means building the capability to act when the window is open. And here's something people tend to miss. Opportunity responds to identity, not desire. A person who sees themselves as decisive acts decisively. A person who sees themselves as cautious waits and hesitates. Over time, that identity becomes self-fulfilling. You don't rise to the level of your hopes. You fall to the level of your systems, habits, and self-image. So if you see yourself as someone who needs more time, guess what? You'll always need more time. If you see yourself as someone who waits for the right moment, you guessed it, the right moment will never feel right. And if you see yourself as someone who moves when opportunity knocks, you'll move. Not because you're fearless, but because that's who you are. This is where we can insert operator versus drifter. A drifter waits for the perfect condition. An operator moves when the opportunity appears, not because it's safe, but because it's aligned. Operators understand something critical. Waiting too long is a decision in itself, and usually the wrong one. Drifters tell themselves they're being smart, strategic, thoughtful, but they're really not. They're just afraid and letting fear take over. And they disguise that fear as wisdom. Operators feel that same fear, but they move anyway. Not recklessly, but they move with intention. They know that clarity comes from action, not contemplation. Faith is not waiting for guarantees. Faith is stepping when the path is still incomplete. Look at Scripture. When God calls people, He didn't give them a full roadmap. He gave them the next step. Abraham didn't know where he was going. Moses didn't have a full plan, and David didn't have the resources. But they moved anyway, because sometimes the opportunity is a test. It's not the reward. And the test isn't, are you capable? The test is, will you move? Here's the part that most people avoid. The opportunity you're waiting for, someone else is already acting on right now, in this very moment. Not someday, but right now. And the difference between you and them isn't talent. It's timing. It's decisiveness. And the willingness to move before every detail is clear. I am not saying being reckless. I'm saying be honest. Are you waiting because the timing is actually wrong? Or are you waiting because moving feels uncomfortable? Because those are two very, very different things. And most of the time, if you're honest with yourself, you already know which one it is. So here's the question. Where is opportunity knocking in your life and you keep hitting snooze? What conversation are you avoiding? What move are you delaying? What door is already cracking open? You know exactly what I'm talking about. That thing you've been thinking about for weeks, maybe months. That hesitation you feel. That's the moment. It's not the obstacle. It's the moment. Because hesitation is a signal that something matters. When something matters, waiting rarely makes it clearer. Action does. People who make things happen aren't fearless. They're practiced. They've trained themselves to move before doubt takes over. They've learned that waiting rarely makes things clearer. Action does. And they've accepted something most people never do. The cost of moving might be high, but the cost of not moving is even higher. Because you can recover from a bad decision, but you can't recover lost time. All right, here's your challenge, and don't overthink this. Before you go to bed tonight, I want you to identify one opportunity you've been sitting on. Not the perfect one, the real one, the one that you've been making excuses about. And tomorrow, before noon, I want you to take one decisive action towards it. Not think more about it, not plan it out more, but decisive action. Send the message, make the phone call, submit the application, start the draft, say yes, and then figure out the rest as you go. Opportunity doesn't reward comfort and hesitation. It rewards courage in motion. And if you wait until you feel ready, you'll always be watching someone else live the life that you want. So move, not because it's easy, but because it's time. Opportunity doesn't wait. It shows up, it tests you, and then it moves on. you can make things happen, you can watch things happen, or you can wonder what just happened. But you don't get to avoid choosing, because not choosing is still a choice. And it usually is the wrong one. If this episode hit home, don't just think about it, execute. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, freedom is not found by waiting. It's built by those who act when the moment arrives. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and I will catch you guys on the next one.